can Hatoras Nedorim be performed via Zoom? So for those on, there's a WhatsApp group of Shluchim called, and someone, Rabbi David, put on, I responded that it's okay. It's geworden a ganze Tumul, that because we know that the Rebbe is very emphatic about not doing a get al yedei telephone, and so many times we heard from the Rebbe dozens of times about not being Yotze Megillah, and Shreif is irrelevant because it's, but not hearing a Megillah or a Bracha Havdalah over the phone, and there are many poskim who did allow it, and the Rebbe maintains that those poskim, they knew halacha, but they didn't understand the Metzias. And actually, Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach also says the same thing. That if they would understand the Metzias, how a telephone works or a microphone, etc., they wouldn't have come to the conclusion that you can be yotze. It's your poshet hearing a piece of metal saying a bracha, a piece of plastic, whatever it may be. But here we came about the question of Hatoras Nedorim. So I just want to share with you where I came from, and this is the Pischei Tshuva. It's on the comment. It's on the margin of the Shulchan Aruch Yeridea Siman Reish Chav Ches, and he writes the following: V'ayim bebes Yosef, the Rabu hamatirin al yedei ksav. Many poskim allow that the pleading for Hatoras Nedorim may be via a letter. You send a letter to the Beis Din, and they will send you back. Yes, we convene and we said you're mutalach. Zulas Harivosh. Yitzchak ben Sheshes, he lived perhaps in Italy about 600 years ago. Kosav de Nira Medivri Harambam, de Afilo al Yedei Ksav Osu. So there's a discussion about whether a letter sent into the Beis Din would be enough to allow Hatoras Nedorim. All right, so fine. So Bes Yosef says you should try to follow that. So b'shas chak, we see here that you are allowed to allow Hatoras Nedorim, even just by a letter. Never mind by a telephone or by a Zoom where you can see face to face. Then there's a bit of a discussion. Why didn't the daughter of Yiftach Nebuch, who was stuck with the neder Yiftach had made, why didn't she send a letter? The whole thing was a question: who should go to whom? To be the Matan Neder Nebuch, and she was stuck because of this. But she could have written a letter to and asked for Hatoras Nedorim. So there's a whole discussion about that. But so here we have that even the need for Hatoras Nedorim doesn't require the Beis Din have to actually hear the voice of the person. They have to know who the person is, I guess, and they have to understand why this person's neder has grounds to be matir, and that's enough. And so certainly I felt on that basis for sure that Hatoras Nedorim via Zoom would be acceptable. Now, on the other hand, the dayonim themselves have to be together. They have to be a status of a Beis Din, and therefore you can't have you can't convene a Beis Din via Zoom. The Beis Din have to be sitting together. There's a certain koyach, elikim nitzov vadas kael. There's a koyach of a Beis Din, and that's when they are together. And I don't know whether we went through this not too long ago, but the concept of having to have three dayonim together is gar interessant. That there's a din of heter b'chayres. If you have an animal which developed and it was a becher, you're not allowed to have it until it has developed a mum, the blemish. That blemish has to be confirmed that it's a permanent blemish, has to be confirmed either by a yochid mumche, by an expert who knows exactly all about mumin. Moshe says in Gemara that Rav spent 18 months with a shepherd to understand which mumin of an animal, which blemishes are permanent mumin. If failing that, you have to have three hedyotas. So the three hedyotas, the three farmers, who are going to paskin that your animal has a mum, which is a permanent mum, they have to be together. You can't go to one farmer, another farmer, another. They have to come together. So there's a certain koyach of three people together, which even by the farmers in Kol Shekem with Dayonim, you have the idea of they have to be dafka together. So as I was saying, and so they could do Hatoras Nedorim over Zoom, but it should be l'moshul if someone can't come to shul. So then to have when there's a Beis Din sitting. Can be in shul after davening, so someone can be with a phone and he can read recite the Bakosha, Bikul Beshuman or Abosai, and they can respond to him in the same way. Then someone asked, what about getting a whole conference, a whole lot of people zooming in at the same time? Then I'm not so sure, because Chabad minig is that everyone says the Hatoras and Nedorim individually. In other shuls, you've got a whole bunch of, I think it's by Sfardim, is the minig, one person, all the people say the Hatoras and Nedorim, and the matter for everyone wholesale. But if that's not our minig, so I don't think you could do that. Certainly, I don't think you could take that to do Hatoras and Nedorim with many phone calls at the same time.